Dub Nation, is Chris Paul. My head coach Steve Kerr joins Willard and Dibs today right here on 95.7 The Game.
Give you a little preview? Because, about 20 minutes away, we'll let you hear the conversation with Steve Kerr again. Here's what he said when I told him, hey, your guy Steph said your job this year has been really hard. What do you think about your rotation job this year? This is what he said.
It's been a challenge, but I will 100% take this over the opposite and not having enough guys. You know, we are, I think, one of the deepest teams in the league, maybe the deepest. And so what that's meant for us is that we've been able to survive, injuries and absences and also develop young players and accomplish a lot of things at once. Obviously, the goal is to win a championship, and we're still in the mix for that. But a lot of good things have happened because of our depth and because of the quality of the human beings involved. I mean, guys like Loon and Moody, who are really good players and have started games and, helped us win championships. I mean, for them to not be in the rotation last night, that's really tough. But they're such good people that they stay with it, put their work in every day, as they're doing right now as we speak, and they stay ready for when their time comes. So we're lucky to have such good guys.
I kind of look at a lot of Warrior fans' assessment of Kerr the same way I look at people sitting at a table at a restaurant. And you just think your server should just be there all the time. Like, why is the food not here on time? Why is the server like, I need a fork, my napkin hit the ground, I need this. Why is this taking so long? It's like, you know what would happen if we just gave you a smock and a job for 6 minutes? Go back there. Go to the back of the house. See what's going on back there. See how many different things are going on for your server. The timing of the chef yelling at everybody.
The chef.
Thank you. Other servers back there. Who knows? Oh, gosh, we got everything ready, and then someone dropped one of the plates, and we want to bring this all out together. Boy, the person at the front of the house sat too many tables at the same time, and now I need to be in 5 places at once. Like, I would love for everybody who's like, this Kerr idiot who didn't go to TJD fast enough, and Kuminga and Moody, I'd love to see you coach one night.
It's not as hard as you're making it.
No, yes, it is.
Get me a fork. I'm sitting down here.
Oh, you're talking about
eat.
the server part.
I'm talking about the Steve Kerr part, too.
Come on, man. There's no way. I love
play
this
Kuminga.
It's
not that hard. Play Kuminga.
Now,
coaching?
Thank you.
Exactly. I would be coaching. This team would not be where it is if I was coaching.
Is he rebounding?
Yeah, this year he has.
Okay.
And play Moody when he's playing well. And don't forget Kuminga.
Only when he's playing well.
Well, he's always playing well.
Does he have a sign on his forehead that will let us know when he's going to play well?
The biggest puzzle is Andrew Wiggins. Trying to figure out whether or not to play Andrew Wiggins and how to play Andrew Wiggins.
They're all puzzles. Klay might not be feeling himself. Draymond might get kicked out. Andrew this way or that way. Jonathan forever was like, I'll rebound maybe. I don't really think it's that important because I can dunk. I mean, come on. How's he supposed to know? How's he supposed to know?
Just play the good players. It's not that hard. Just play the good guys and let the other guys sit.
I think this is a great take. Listen to Frank in San Jose. Hi, Frank. What are you doing?
Hey, guys. Hey, I have 2 points. The first one was what I originally called about, like, we've all played fantasy football. We've all had those teams where you've got a roster full of number 2 guys, all of which could blow up on any given day, and you never seem to get it right. You only can start so many.
Tell Dibs right now, Frank. Tell him.
Frank, I'm mad at you right now because I had a whole season of that this year.
Tell him about how dumb he was to leave David Montgomery on the bench, and it ruined his whole season.
I'm angry,
Tell
Jeff.
him, Frank.
I mean, that's awesome. Honestly, if you had a roster that was full of must-start guys, it's a hell of a lot easier. But we don't have that, right? The other thing, though, I wanted to comment on something else you said after I initially called. And you were talking about the Warriors developing all their rookies and that they haven't done a bad job. The reality is that the Warriors haven't had a choice because they've been over the cap for so many years now that they haven't been able to go out and get free agents. So they've had to kind of sleep in the bed that they're made for themselves. And the hard part about Steve Kerr's job is that you can't take risk, right? You can't play Wembanyama every day because you're trying to win a championship. And you've got to find guys who are going to mesh with Steph and Draymond. And I mean, you got 2 must starts on this team, 2.5. Steph and Draymond and now Kuminga, right? Klay is in there, right? But everyone else is mix and match. And you've got to try and figure out who's going to make these guys a champion, give these guys a champion. And if you said to me, hey, you know what? Podziemski is an everyday starter on a championship caliber team, I'm going to say you're an idiot. If you say TJD is an everyday starter on a championship caliber team, I'm going to say you're wrong. And I'm going to say this. If you think you can start both of those guys every single day on a championship caliber team, you don't know basketball.
Frank, I think
you
it's
have to find ways to mix and match these guys.
It's a great call, Frank. Thank you. Like I sort of look at it this way: you can rip the team for developing, or you can rip them for drafting. You can't rip them for both. Like I hear that a lot. Oh, they didn't.
You can rip them for both.
They didn't develop Wiseman. No, he stinks.
Yeah,
therefore,
that's a little harsh, but yeah,
he stinks.
It's early in his career, but it's not looking good.
He can't
not looking
play.
good for the young man.
Not that
this
early.
Is James Wiseman.
It's not that early.
He missed 2 full seasons, so
and now has played in 3.
He's played in a couple.
Yeah,
but
this is not that early. You can't win a job with the Pistons. You can't start for the Pistons.
they got a lot of bigs. He's buried on the depth chart. I'm with you though, as far as you can't.
You got to do one or the other. You can either say it was a bad pick or say that you couldn't develop him. You can't do both. You can't say you made a bad pick and you didn't develop him.
Well, you can say that if he goes on to play well elsewhere, and so far he hasn't.
Who has? Who's the young warrior where you're like, you didn't develop him and then he went somewhere else and now he's a star?
No player's gone out to be a star.
Nobody. Jordan Poole got worse. James Wiseman can't crack the Pistons rotation on most nights.
A lot of that is because of where you're drafting, too. And,
for sure.
You've drafted guys at the end of the first round and in the second round, and James Wiseman's the big exception because he was a lottery pick, and it was a bad pick. And whether or not you developed him or not is yet to be determined. It doesn't seem like he's developable, if I can create a word, because so far Detroit hasn't developed him, and they've got a great coach there.
And so who are their other 2 top 15 picks?
Kuminga and Moody.
There you go. And Jonathan Kuminga, would you say he has now been developed and is a hit at number 7?
Absolutely, he's a hit.
Okay, and Moses Moody, who is twice as many picks later.
Right. The jury's still out.
The jury's still out, but he can play.
He can play.
Moses Moody's got a job in the NBA, which at number 14, at minimum, it's not a miss. It's not a bust. Right?
And that to me will be interesting as far as development. If he eventually goes on and plays somewhere else, does he become a different player, more of a player for another team? Because here, it's been fits and starts.
Totally.
It's been, you're in the rotation, you're out of the rotation. Oh, we need you to start, get in there. Now you're back on the bench, and like where he sits right now, he's the 10th or 11th man.
And he's handled it very, very well.
He's been a pro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gabe Kapler would love the guy because he's like a platoon player.
Totally.
Right? It's like, take 3 days off, now go get me a hit. And by the way, he largely does. Let's go to Tanner in Livermore. Hi, Tanner. What are you doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing today? Just making my way home from work. I got a hypothetical and a question. So the hypothetical is there's a lot going back and forth between Kuminga and Wiggins. Who's getting the playing time? Who's not? What's the production? But my thought is maybe it's more so who is putting Klay in the best position to continue on this heater. So that's my hypothetical. And the question for you guys is, after last night's performance, is he still a $25 million player?
And so when you say who's putting him in the best position, do you mean which team, Warriors or someone else?
Player individually. So is it Kuminga or Wiggins putting Klay in the best position to succeed right now?
Got it. Okay. Which other wing is helping him do that? Okay. Tanner, thanks. Okay. First of all, is he a $25 million player? I say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the framework of the league, if Drew Holiday is worth $34 million, yes, Klay Thompson is absolutely still worth $25, and I do believe that he will get $25 from someone. Hell, the Warriors already offered him $24,
right?
And he said no. So yeah, I think he'd get another $1 million.
I think so.
So that's now. who puts him in the best position, Kuminga or Wiggins? That one's not as easy. I feel like I want to say Andrew Wiggins. I think Wiggins is a little bit more willing or seasoned of a passer. And also at this point, and this is not a compliment, but he's just more willing to defer. So maybe that's best for Klay, though what's best for the Warriors is for Wiggins to stop deferring so much and be more aggressive, which is what all of them have said over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know the analytics to that, of Klay performs better with which one of those on the floor. I'm not sure, but I feel my feel says Wiggins.
The numbers would tell you it's Kuminga.
Okay.
And I'm looking at 2-man combinations in the regular season.
Not 5-man with them both on the floor.
No, just the 2-man combo. Klay's best is with Draymond. His second best is with Kuminga.
Okay.
In terms of just raw plus minus, and then him with Chris Paul, and then he with Pods, and then he with Looney, then he with Curry, then Klay with Wiggins. They're a minus 4.4 together in 1,011 minutes this year.
Okay. You're talking about your other wing. I would much more rather talk about, like, for instance, which point guard or even point forward is out there with Klay Thompson and who's putting him in his best position there. Did you say Chris Paul is pretty high on the list?
Higher than Wiggins in just 2-man combinations.
Yeah. Okay. Willard and Dibs, you're listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Steve Kerr in less than 10 minutes. Let's go to Mark in Oakland. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Hey, guys. Nothing. I'm just sitting here in traffic. I'm going to try to make a couple points really fast and concise. If I run out of time, just hang up on me. One, Warrior fans are crazy for complaining about where we're at. I think we're in a fantastic position. We're peaking. I think we are the number one sleeper team in the league. And quite honestly, if we got number 8 and we had to play Denver, I'm okay with that matchup. I know it's taking on Goliath straight out the box, but I think we can actually take them. I also want to say that we're really probably a 52 to 53 win team had we not had that horrendous first half. Clutch games, missing out on Draymond, as well as Wiggins being a no-show. But I feel like all those issues are maybe not entirely gone, but look at Wiggins. He's playing a lot better. Draymond, to me, is just an unheralded basketball player, albeit he's got problems. But he's playing phenomenal. And that shot, his shooting expedition last night was incredible. And my last point is we cannot talk about developing talent without recognizing that we are the only NBA team, as far as I understand, to draft 3 players and keep them for so long. And if we re-sign Klay, I mean, these guys could all finish their career with Golden State Warriors, which to me is unheard of. So developing talent to me is not an issue for this team, and I think we're in a good position.
Yeah, Mark, thank you. I largely agree. I tend to think, and I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, but the people I hear that from, I often feel like sort of make hypocritical points, or they make the opposite point at the same time. In other words, there's a very healthy, and I get it. These are some exciting young players. The Warriors had a good draft this year, but the same people that want to bang the drum about young players, get him in there. Get him in there. Come on. Kuminga, TJD, Poughkeepsie, put him in there more. Okay.
Posminski.
And then as they start looking really good and contributing, people will be like, see, these guys just refuse to develop young players. It's like, well, wait a minute, but don't you like what you see from them? Don't you like what that is development? Like the Warriors, I would argue, especially when you factor in that they were not even near the lottery. And what was Pajemski? 21? What was the draft number? Was he the 21st?
19.
19. Okay. So the Warriors are not in the top 15, and they have come away with, as you and I discussed yesterday, easily 2 of the top 15 rookies in the league. And they were nowhere near the top 15 picks. I could argue the Warriors, in terms of bang for buck, had the best draft of anyone in the NBA. And now both players are contributing at a very high level for a team that is postseason bound. Make the case that they're not developing young players.
Right.
Like that's exactly what this is.
And what is the timeline for developing young players? Is it 1 season? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Additionally, how do you balance the development of a young player with the goal that you have as a team when you've got 3 veterans who have been champions? You've got 4 or 5 veterans, actually, and a 39-year-old point guard who you acquired. So how do you balance the two things? You're trying to win, and you're also trying to develop young players. Well, your hand was forced this year because you needed the young players to play. Chris Paul was out for almost a couple of months with a broken hand. Draymond couldn't control himself and missed 15 games. Wiggins had an absence. Klay was in a slump. All these other things that kind of led you to need to play these guys, and they played well. So their development was accelerated by need and also by the fact that they both came into the league ready to go, much more ready than James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga were when they were rookies.
And I look at this Western Conference, and I know you joked earlier about the idea of, the Warriors being that team. Nobody wants to face them.
Right.
I don't know if anybody wants to face anybody, man. You look at these Western Conference, I really believe it. Like, these series are going to be long. They're going to be long. The fact that the 1 seed in the West has fit, like, no one's going to get 60 wins. So there is no one team that's just like, well, they'll dominate. I think everybody in the top 10 can at least hang with everybody in the top 10. At least hang. I'm not saying win. I'm not telling you the Kings or the Warriors or the Lakers could go beat Denver. I would highly doubt it. But I don't see a sweep. I don't see anybody dominating anybody. And so we set up for some of the best theater that the NBA playoffs have to offer. Unfortunately for us Warrior fans, you sort of end up in the cauldron right away and could end up on the chopping block right away, which would be tremendously disappointing because this is going to be a great playoff experience. So I really hope the Warriors are a part of it.
Yeah, just get in and be a part of it. And even if you wind up as the 8 and you have to go up against Denver, OKC, Minnesota, whatever, but get in there and slug it out. At the very least, you're going to give the Poughkeepsie kid and TJD, at the very least, playoff experience. And Jonathan Kuminga is going to get playoff experience at that point as a real impactful player, unlike what he got in his first 2 years with the Warriors.
You know, what I was looking at here, because I know that we our stock thing is to say that that Denver is going to end up as the 1 seed. We're leaving out what is a massive basketball game that starts in 2 hours. Minnesota is in Denver tonight. They are tied for the 1 seed, and they are tied head-to-head for the year. So not only does the winner move a game ahead, but the winner grabs the tiebreaker for this whole thing. So in other words, the winner probably has the 1 seed.
Right.
It's probably on the line tonight. Denver at home. And Minnesota right now actually has the tiebreaker, but it doesn't matter. Whoever wins this one tonight is going to get it. So I know it's sort of that stock feel. They're the champs, that Denver is going to be the number 1. That thing can still get thrown around all over the place. And so Minnesota's at Denver tonight, and then they're home for the rest of their schedule with the Hawks and the Suns. I think those are both pretty winnable games, but I haven't really looked at the schedules for these 3 teams the rest of the way to see how they are likely to go. Denver's schedule is very easy after this one, so I think we may get somewhat of an answer tonight. If Denver wins tonight, they're probably going to be the 1 seed.
Right.
Because then it's San Antonio and Memphis for them the rest of the way.
Should be easy pickings.
Yeah,
and if Minnesota wins, they'll probably be the 1 seed based on holding the tiebreaker over Denver, and then they